All right. Welcome. This is a new season. This is going to be season 4 of SUB-CLE. I'm very excited to say that we have Steve from Schnauzer and a bunch of other Cleveland bands, right? Minch. I'm sure we're going to get into how many other bands he has, but Steve, thanks for coming down, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Perfect timing. Nothing could be better, Nice and chill and easy.
Nice. So, all right, so I want to, anybody that doesn't know you, and if you've been in the Cleveland metal scene, you obviously know this guy. But for anyone that does not know, who are you? What's going on? What are you known for?
Well, I would like to say that I'm known for many things.
Yeah.
And being in some Cleveland metal crazy bands is one of them. And I've had a really nice career playing scrap metal from Cleveland, and I've been pretty happy with that,
Parma, Ohio, man.
Well, from Parma for sure.
Yeah.
Well, not straight out of Parma.
Yeah. You guys actually put Parma on the map, right?
We were strong promoters of Parma. People knew we were from Parma. And with being in Schnauzer, I got asked to be in Schnauzer in '92, and Jim asked me to be in the band.
Jim
Konya, one of my best friends. We lost Jim in 2015 now.
Yeah.
And he's been gone for almost 5 years now. And he was the most metal motherfucker ever. And no one can compete with him. And being in a band with him, it was I knew I could never top Jim's metalism, and I was glad that I can be there to help Jim with his all of his influential things he's put into me.
Right.
If it wasn't for Jim, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Is that right?
100%. It's all Jim.
Dude. I'll tell you, if I could interject, I remember meeting Jim, and it's, I obviously wasn't as close to him as you, but he would, at Rock and Roll City Studios, he would come into our room, and we would, he was always giving away 7-inch records.
Yeah, man. Very well known for that.
And
stickers, flyers, CDs, records, he'd hook you up.
He was a special dude. You knew it.
Yeah,
you knew
100.
that.
No. We were 100% brothers for a good 10 years, and when you have brothers, when you're brothers with someone, you can knock heads with each other and hit below the belt sometimes because you're brothers and you can do that. And we had a lot of problems with arguing because that was part of the relationship. That was part of the routine. That was part of the shtick.
Right.
Us arguing was part of the show. And sometimes we would hit below the belt and hurt each other's feelings, and getting a lot of fights with Jim.
Right.
And but I wasn't the only one that fought with Jim. Jim fought with everybody about everything all the time. So it was pretty fun. And not to get off track, but
I think you're right on track, man.
Yeah, but still, Jim asked me to play in Schnauzer with him in '92, and things were different back then. And the thing I wanted to say about Schnauzer, what was a really, really cool thing about Schnauzer that I always loved the most was back then in '92, when the band was still new and stuff and whatnot. The 5 guys in the band, Jim being from the high school Normandy in Parma,
Okay.
and me and Tony being from the high school Parma High,
Okay.
and Merck being from Valley Forge.
Okay.
We kind of brought all the 4 schools together. It was, it was kind of cool. I really liked that Parma vibe of the band.
Yeah, sure.
And then what we did with the music was we threw some metal, it mixed in with punky, noisy thrash, and we mixed all the flavors of music together back then without even trying.
Right.
Because our first probably 10 shows, we never even practiced. We just show up to the basement and play basement shows and garage shows. So we were a band playing around Parma in '92, '93, '94, and we didn't start playing clubs until about '95.
Right.
So by then we already had our following. When we started playing the shows, people knew who we were.
Right.
And then what we also did, without even really, I'm sure Jim knew all about it, but we didn't play a lot.
Right.
So if you only play once every 3 months or so, everyone wants to come because they know we're not going to play again for a while.
Right.
So it just built up the momentum for the band to just keep kind of getting crazier and crazier, and that's what we were about. So we were getting pretty crazy there. People getting hurt.
But I mean, you guys actually, like, you just did it garage style. I mean, because I mean, there was definitely, I've heard about you, and you know, I started playing in a band probably, probably right around early '90s. Same thing, and we always kind of struggled, but it seemed like you guys were known. You were known.
Yeah, because we were doing stuff before we started playing clubs. We had some really fun basement shows, living room shows, garage shows, cops showing up. Like, that's where we, and we didn't rehearse. We didn't practice. Yeah. We just grind it out and just start just doing stuff. And then I believe in 95 was when we went into the studio for the first time and recorded a CD. And then 96 is when we started playing shows, like at the Fancy and the Grog Shop and, the
old Grog Shop,
Pit.
Right?
Yeah, we played the old Grog Shop.
Right.
For sure.
The old Peabody's.
The old Peabody's, yes, down in the flats. We played there, like that's where we, and then we wanted to be a Cleveland band.
Right.
We didn't care about going to Pittsburgh and going to
even
Detroit.
Though Konya was a Pittsburgh.
No, 100%. No, he got to play in Pittsburgh, man. I wasn't in the band at that time, so I'm so glad Schnauzer did get to play in Pittsburgh. They 100% did. I think it was under a bridge, too. He loved it. It was great. And playing shows in the early days, we were an average band, bands, wearing maybe funny shirts or something,
sure.
Not really 100% serious, like,
Right.
And then the one show we brought like a recliner chair, but it ended up getting destroyed. So the next show we brought like a little sofa, and it got destroyed. And then the next show we brought the love seat and the sofa and the weight bench. And then after that, every show just got more and more and more and more and more and more, and the stuffed animal thing happened because we took a refrigerator box or two full of teddy bears, and people just started wrecking the club with the teddy bears, and then the pool noodles and the pogo sticks and the hula hoops, and we had pie fights at shows. I mean, and if you only do that once every 3 months or so, people get itchy to want to do it again. And
that's right.
And we had a lot of fun, and I have a whole briefcase full of every Schnauzer show that we ever played.
Is that right?
I have videos of all the shows, and if I don't have the video, I have the audio, because I was kind of like the documentary guy in the band.
Dude, that's
what.
So any like movie makers out there,
yes.
This is what you need to do.
A whole briefcase, probably 40 shows.
This would be
some
such
shows,
a great.
Some shows.
Yeah.
So many video cameras came to the show. Instead of having one camera, we have 4 different angles of like 5 different shows.
Nice.
Like when the teddy bears and everything's going crazy. 5 different angles of like 4 different angles of one show. It's like crazy. It's over the top.
Yeah.
Really fun stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how'd you get all those people? Like you had a bunch of people with video cameras. Like it wasn't like everyone had a phone camera.
I had the video camera back in '92.
But how were you able to get like 5 different angles? Or
because by the time the teddy bear shows started happening, people were just bringing their own cameras, and it's like, hey, Steve, here's our copy of the show, and here's a copy of the show. And then, like, say we played a show in January, I would get my camera would get the video of the show,
right?
And the next show that we play is in like April,
right?
I would have a VHS of that show in January, and I would sell the shows at the next show.
Nice.
I made compilation VHS tapes back in the day, and the videos became really big part of the band.
That's actually like a big deal. Like now, like nobody had video back in the day. Now everyone does because everyone has a phone camera.
Right,
and everything,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right, for sure. But back in the day, no one had cameras at shows and stuff like video recorders. You know,
not as they do now.
No, not at all. No. This is like 2000, like 98, 99, 2000.
So
when the show started getting pretty crazy like that.
So, no, that's cool, man. Like, I seriously, I'd like to go. You have the briefcase?
Yeah, I got
here
the
with
briefcase.
you.
Yeah, I have the briefcase.
Let's see this. Can you open that up, man? Because I gotta see.
I don't know if we can get it in the angle. If you have a zoom thing around or something.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll get the idea, right? So this is all. So those are all. What are those?
DVDs.
Like, they're DVDs.
DVDs of all the shows.
Look at all those DVDs, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you could like fold that out a little bit, just so people could see. No, just like pull out the pages.
Oh, take the pages out?
No, just like this, man. Like just.
Oh, right. I mean, like the thickness of it.
Like, look at all those.
Yeah, it's like page after page, and then I started making different volumes of them and stuff. But yeah, I got this briefcase of Schnauzer stuff.
Dude, seriously, if there's a movie maker out there, make this movie. This would be so cool. The Schnauzer, dude, come on.
No, I for a couple years now, my biggest project that I would like to get into doing, which is the biggest project I could ever get involved in, and I know I'm a slacker already, but I would like to write a book about Jim Konya.
Jim Konya, really?
But what the book is about is every chapter can be about each of his bands, because he played in Schnauzer, he played in Nunslaughter, he played in From the Depths and Nordic Mist, and like all these hardcore bands. Like each chapter can be about the dudes that he played in the bands with telling the story. It's not like I want to tell the story, but it could be like the Nunslaughter thing, and all the guys in Nunslaughter can tell their stories about Jim.
Yeah.
And then us in Schnauzer can tell our stories about Jim.
That'd be cool.
And then the other things, and then for all of his shows that he played with all of his bands, have pages of flyers and photos, and you know, because Jim used to like making flyers for all his shows, and he probably played over 500 shows, and we can have all the flyers for all the shows in there. And then Jim did a lot of interviews for magazines, and we can have like the interviews from the different magazines in the thing. You know, just a nice little thing for Jim. But it's a big project, and I've talked to probably about 10 people about it. You know, doing a Schnauzer Jim Konya book.
Anybody interested in doing the publication?
It's not that far in advance yet. Like it's not. It's only in the dream stage.
Right.
It's not being put together yet. You know, and I would need help with like 10 other people. And can you trust 10 other people to help you get a big project done? You know, it's big. It's a big thing to do.
I could probably.
It's something that I've been thinking about. You know, when it comes to doing something.
Right.
You know.
I'm sure there's a lot of I might be able to connect you with some writers and stuff like that.
A couple other people did the same thing. There's a dude from around town, I think, that wrote the Slayer book or something.
Right.
There's
in Cleveland.
There's a Slayer book called The Bloody Reign of Slayer.
Yeah, official
like a Slayer book.
Thing.
Yeah, it's a book about Slayer, you know.
And
I heard
local
that dude,
Cleveland guy?
Yeah. That's what I think. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I would put my money on it.
Nice.
And
he can do a Schnauzer thing.
That would be great, man. You know. I don't know. And then
I mean, Jim Konya, I got to tell you though, there was nobody cooler than that guy. And you said he started a lot of shit. I wasn't that close to him. Whatever, but
you definitely didn't play in a band with him.
You know, and it's funny because he's like quintessentially Cleveland, but he was like a huge Pittsburgh fan, you know?
Right. He wasn't that. He was all Pittsburgh. Because you know what?
Did he grow up there or something?
No. Jim
just like to
grew
piss
up.
People off, right?
No. I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
because Bradshaw and Swan and Franco Harris and Mean Joe Green and that was the team of the 70s.
Sure.
And Jim never let go of that, I don't think.
Steel curtain.
He was like, the Steelers are my team. Yeah. And I think when he was young, he's just like, there's no team better than the Steelers. And he stayed with it.
Yeah.
I'm from Cleveland, but everyone knows I'm a Tampa Bay fan.
Oh, are you?
I've been a Tampa Bay fan since like the 80s.
Why'd you pick Tampa Bay? Like what?
My dad would bring home week 1, week 2, week 3, and you'd circle the winners of each game. And he did it at work and did it at the bowling alley, like a bookie of some sort, Right. And Dad would give me the sheet, and I circled the teams I thought were going to win the game. And I was about 10 years old, and he was like, "Steven, you're in the running this week. Everyone got 10, like 4 people got 10 picks right, and you were one of the 4 10. Like we all got 10 picks right." So
was it a guess, or did you know?
I was 10 years old.
You didn't know.
I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And the Monday night game was Chicago at Tampa Bay or something.
Okay.
And all of us that had 10, everyone took Chicago.
Right.
I took Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So when Tampa Bay won that Monday night game against Chicago, which everyone took Chicago, I won the $75. My dad came home and gave me $75 when I was 10 years old. I'm like, Tampa Bay. And that's when they had Tom Selleck on their helmet, and they had the orange sickle. Yeah. Right. They had Tom on their fucking thing. And now everyone's like, wow, you got Tom Brady, man, the Tampa Bay and Tom Brady.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh, is it?
I've hated that fucking freak, forever. I've rooted against that guy his whole career. Now I got to root for him. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, why do I got to do? Which is cool. I'm not saying he's not the best quarterback ever to play the game. Right. I mean, obviously I'll take him. But now my team is him.
Right.
My team is him.
Right.
Yeah, which is fine.
He kind of takes over his persona.
But if he makes it to the Super Bowl, I hope he has to face Belichick, and I hope Belichick wins. You shouldn't say that about my team,
Well, because I was going to say...
But I've rooted against Tom his whole career. I've never rooted for him.
I'm trying to put this together, because obviously you're friends with Konya, whatever. Obviously, he would... Oh. No, we got a little spill.
Yeah, I was laughing, and I spilled my drink.
But so Kanye was the Pittsburgh guy, but the thing is, I always kind of like New England. Well, one of my best friends was from Boston, and he liked them. So whatever. Hey, I like my best friend. I'm gonna like, and I appreciate the greatness. But I also, it's like an added benefit that, like, Steelers fans hate New England because they always kind of ruin it for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that. So I get probably why you had the whole Steelers thing in the beginning. You probably hate New England just because they ruin it for the Steelers and this and that, whatever.
It had a lot to do with Brown's history and, Belichick going from there to there, and what could have happened if Belichick drafted Brady and Ray Lewis in Cleveland.
Right.
Like weird stories.
If the team never moved. In 2 years, could we have been the Super Bowl champs?
Right. Like say we inherited Brady in Cleveland because Belichick stayed, and then Ray Lewis got drafted by the Baltimore,
right,
which turned into Cleveland. Baltimore had a really good team because of Lewis. I think he's great.
Well, yeah. But when Cleveland did move, Art Modell kind of moved the team, but they had that show where they were talking about like how they had the think tank, right, how to win games,
right.
So when they moved, the team kind of went to New England and Baltimore. They kind of split up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that right? I'm not a big sports guy.
No.
And then they're the winning teams,
Right. But anyway, me and Jim were like really big jocks, and people that are into music real big, were always like, Jim used to come over to my house all the time when we used to watch football. We'd watch the talk shows in the morning, and me and Jim, we were sports fans. And that was always not always real popular, like in music scenes sometimes. It is now. It's just common, normal now. But back then, jocks and metalheads didn't get along the best.
Right.
I don't know.
So you would say you were more in the kind of sports end of the thing before music?
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I played baseball and stuff like that, and I collected baseball cards. You're a kid, and that's what you did, and that's how I learned how to collect things. I'm a real big collector.
Okay.
So I collect 10 different genres of 10 different things.
Right.
It's over the top. And
what do you collect?
I collect music, so I have a lot of vinyl, I have a lot of CDs, I have a lot of tapes.
Okay.
And I collect toys, Star Wars and whatnots.
Really? So vintage, new, everything?
I had a very big Star Wars toy collection when I was a little kid.
Really?
And I got 10 stories about that, my
So you had
Star
nice
Wars.
parents, because I'll tell you what,
no,
I would beg for
I lost
figures.
my mom over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a real hard thing to live with, is losing your mom.
I agree.
And that happens in any story. Rich people, poor people, middle class people, whatever,
Right.
But my mom was the nicest lady in the world to me. I put her through hell. I put my mom through demon. She had a demon child.
I think you're a great guy.
No. Me and Mom really were best of friends. It was so great.
Yeah.
So, some people don't have that,
No, I'll tell you what.
And my mom and Jim were friends, and she'd give him Christmas presents, and she would label them to Eddie Haskell. That was my mom's thing. Like, hi, Mrs. Stanley, all the time. You know what I'm saying? And she started calling Jim Eddie Haskell.
Oh, dude, that makes sense.
And yeah, it's totally funny. And then one time we're down in the basement, we're screaming and yelling at each other, and she's like, opens the basement door, and she's like, Steven! If you and Jim don't stop fighting, Jim's gonna have to go home. We're like in our 30s. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I didn't move out of my house until I was like 45 or something.
Oh yeah.
44. But and Jim would come over for dinner and stuff. We were real close, me and Jim.
That's funny, man. Yeah. Well, because I gotta tell you, to be Eddie Haskell, I don't think he's as shady as Eddie Haskell, right?
No, dude.
But he has that persona,
No.
Because he'll come. He's like, hey, how you doing?
Well, right.
Totally. Every time I met Jim, even though I wasn't his best friend, he made me feel as though I was his best
100%,
friend.
yeah.
He's
really good at remembering names. I don't remember anybody.
Right.
Nobody.
Right,
I'm not good at that. Jim was always remember everybody's name. And the coolest thing about Jim is that everyone knows, but don't talk more about it, is Jim never smoked, Jim never drank, Jim never did drugs.
That's right.
And it was always great knowing, because I knew how fucked up I was going to get, that Jim was around. Like, if something bad happened, I know that Jim's got my back at all times. He was always first class.
Yeah, absolutely.
He helped me clean up my parties, because I used to have parties at my house, and he'd always, start ruckuses, at the house, and, fuck with people. I think that's what got him high. Just being around 20 drunk people, and you're the only straight guy in the room, he would cut through all of us like butter all night.
He was the antithesis of persona. Whenever you're
right, it was his room. If he was in it, it was right. Jim's out. Gym time, Yeah,
for sure.
Totally,
absolutely,
100%.
And he owned it every time.
Right.
There was nobody that can outdo him.
Right. And being in a band with him, I knew I can't out funny him. I can't out metal him. I can't, Right. I was always his whipping boy, and he liked having me around because he knew I liked to argue about anything.
Well, I think it was a great thing, because I remember we played with Schnauzer. I think I have some posters hanging up over here with Schnauzer and our
probably at the Fantasy.
Like probably Fantasy, probably Jigsaw, probably
right.
a few other places. But you know, and just, I don't know, playing that kind of thing. It's like, you know, it's going to be extreme. You are extreme. I mean, that's why he liked that. I would imagine that's why he.
Me and Jim were all about helping each other out. Like back in the day, I bought a copy machine, so Jim would come over to my house to make the flyers for the show. And I needed the copy machine because I did a magazine, and I used to make flyers for Pile of Eggs. And he saw all the enthusiasm I had for my bands, and in like 89, 90 is when the first Minch record came out. Me and Jim weren't 100% the bestest of friends when the first Minch record came out. Yeah. But after the first Minch record came out, 90, me and Jim became really good friends. And by 92 is when he asked me to join Schnauzer, because I asked him to join Minch. I'm like, I want to do Minch. I want to be in Minch. Right. And he put out Minch first record was in 1990. And then the second one was in 92, and then the third one was recorded in my basement at my house with some of my buddies. So I made it into Minch, you know. And that was after I was already in Schnauzer, though.
Right.
Like, we were friends, you know. We did a lot of stuff together. And when the internet was new, I had this thing called Web TV before I had a computer.
That's right. Me too. Yeah, I remember that.
And you can have 6 different emails. So I made Jim an email, and Jim would come over to my house to check the email. You know, check his email. You know, hey, you gonna be home? I'm like, nah, I was gonna go out this chick. She's not gonna fuck you. You should just stay home so I can come over. You know, he's like, you're not getting laid tonight. Go, why don't you just like? I'm like, you know. I'm like, nah, you know.
I can hear Jim saying that.
Yeah. You know, but he would come over and make flyers and do his email, and we would make flyers for the show. I would make flyers for the demos in the mail, because back then the internet wasn't invented yet, and we used to have to mail our records and tapes and CDs through the mail.
It was invented, it just wasn't popular.
Well, in 92, 93, 94.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't out yet. It wasn't.
I mean, it was there. It was.
We didn't know not everybody wasn't connected yet, because I think everyone started getting connected in like 95, 96.
You think? Is that? Yeah, probably. Right.
I didn't get connected until like 2004.
Late 90s.
I didn't get my first computer until 2004.
Yeah.
Because I had the web TV. I was cool with it.
Yeah.
It's nice and simple and easy.
Isn't it crazy though that like now everything is right on your phone?
Right there it is. Star Trek. Beam me up, Scotty.
But the thing is,
here I come.
But the thing is, I think I've said this before. Like I love Star Trek, but they're communicators. Back in the day, like when I was a kid, I was like, dude, that's amazing.
Right.
It was amazing. They're not even as cool as what we have now, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
They didn't have screens on them or nothing,
right.
you know?
No, right. Yeah, no, there we are, man. In everyone's face. Everyone's in everyone's face all day now.
So go ahead and I would really like to hear. All right. You were a little kid. You met Jim Konya. You got into music, or you were into music, and then
I remember being a real little kid.
I probably come from the beginning.
I would say 76, 77. And my little friend down the street had an older brother. He had the Kiss records. So finding out about Kiss when you're a real young kid, you're just introduced to music kind of that way.
Have a big metal influence.
They did. So I remember being little and liking Kiss as my first favorite band. I had a little lunchbox. I still have the lunchbox. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember being a little kid, and when Dirty Deeds would come on the radio, I'd be like, Mom, yeah, that one, turn this one up. This is a song I like for AC/DC.
Right.
You know, and whatnot. So by the time you're 14, you've heard Black Sabbath, and that was really weird hearing Black Sabbath and being scared as a little kid, going, "What's this album?" You know.
Yeah.
So like even before you knew anything, you're looking at this scary record, and it attracted me. The first Black Sabbath record when I was like 9, you know, like, whoa, what's this thing? And knowing music's out there.
A loving family, right?
Oh yeah. No. My parents are 100% over the top. Best of friends. But still,
it's that darkness that attracts you, you know.
Well, when you're over your buddy's house and he's got older brothers, and you see this Black Sabbath album, you look at it.
Right.
You know, it had nothing to do with my parents telling me not to look at Black Sabbath records.
Sure.
You know, I didn't go home and say, Mom, I looked at the Black Sabbath record and it had this demon girl on the front, and the song was started with rain, and it sounded like it was going to kill me. You know, like you know. And then by the time I was 13, that was probably like 83, and Motley Crue came out. Motley Crue I just was aimed at my generation, and then Van Halen. And then, you know, I kind of knew a little bit. Love
is a great album.
Well, I found out about him through the Looks That Kill video and stuff back as a Shout at the Devil album. You know, and my first concert was Motley Crue Shout at the Devil 1984. 84 was my first concert. And by 94, I'm in 3 bands.
Nice.
You know, it took me 10 years to...
Dude, you look young. You cannot be this old. Come on.
I'm blessed with the Dick Clark syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm the world's oldest teenager.
Right.
And that's what I've been holding on to for as long as I can. I made it to 50 because next month I'll be 50.
Oh, really? See, because you're telling me these stories, and I'm like, I wasn't that old, you know.
Right. No, you kind of thought maybe we were on the same
I thought we
decade.
were. Yeah.
Right. No, I was born in 1970.
Okay.
And being 7 years old, I was the target generation for Star Wars, so I'm this big Star Wars collector. So growing up, I had Kiss and Star Wars, and I liked AC/DC and finding out about Black Sabbath albums, you know. So I always gravitated toward like Led Zeppelin and, you know, and Aerosmith. Those were the heavier bands of the day. And then getting into Motley Crue turned into Metallica. Metallica turned into Death and Obituary.
Oh, so you went that route? No Pantera, you didn't go that route. You went
like I remember before.
See, I went the Pantera route.
I remember before death metal.
Right.
There was an era there where death metal wasn't invented yet.
No. Well, yeah.
So that wasn't at least until like 81, 82, 80.
Right.
You know, Slayer, but Slayer scared me for years before I'd liked them. So you're talking Pantera. By the time Pantera came out,
that was early 90s.
I had nothing to do with that genre of music.
Right. You were straight into Obituary, Death.
Well, when you hear about Metallica,
yeah.
And this is like 85, 86, you know, 85, I seen Metallica on the Lightning Tour.
Yeah.
I seen Metallica 3 times with Cliff Burton.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
Like, yeah. So
see, when I got into Metallica, it was after he died.
No, right. So I was into Metallica, and then the next step was the German thrash metal scene. Right. Which was Creator, Sodom, and Destruction.
Yep.
And those 3 bands were more brutal than Metallica.
Yeah, Creator's still doing it.
Oh, Creator's great. Love them.
Yeah.
And then so, and then you're into Creator, Sodom, Destruction, and someone's like, did you hear this Napalm Death record?
That's right.
Did you hear this Carcass record?
That's right.
So I'm grindcore,
Symphony.
and some people are talking Pantera to me. I'm like, I don't care about this radio band.
That's right.
So I never, you know what I'm saying? So
no, I hear you.
That's where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And
no, you're into that grind.
I liked Carcass and Morbid Angel and stuff
Cannibal
like that.
Corpse, stuff like that. No Cannibal
I heard
Corpse?
the first Minch record in 1990.
Okay.
And that's Jim and Sam beating on a dryer in a basement.
That's the first Minch.
Beating on a dryer.
This is getting back. So this is getting back into where you're coming from. So your first Minch. This is your first move into music, is Minch.
Yeah, I know Jim. He plays in some bands. I knew some other local Cleveland rockers, and Terror, Domestic Crisis, which was more like a hardcore punk, and Terror was more thrash metal, and this other band, Slugs of Sausage. So I started meeting bands in like 87, 88, 89. Right. And I knew some people that played in bands and going to shows, and me being the oldest of the group that I was hanging out with, I drove to the shows.
Yeah.
You know? And because my group of friends were always about 4 years younger than me.
That's right. Yeah.
And whatnot. And I heard I heard about the Minch. Jim told me about it. I didn't understand it, and I found it at a record store called Chris's Warped Records, and I bought the record for $4. And it's my buddy beating on a dryer, doing whammy guitar solo, crazy, screaming all over top of it. And I was like, wow, I didn't know you can do anything like this.
You were part of it, though.
Well, I wasn't on the first Minch, no.
Oh, okay.
That came out in 1990.
Okay.
And I wasn't on the first Minch.
Okay.
I joined Minch in like 93.
Okay.
So I was a big promoter of Jim.
I
love Jim's band. I love it. This is great. This is crazy. And I really promoted Jim's band.
And you're still carrying the torch, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And there was a record label from here in Cleveland called Seraphic Decay Records.
Okay.
And this was back in 1990. And they put out records by Mortician, Incantation, and some serious, real metal bands that are still influential today. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it was the Seraphic Decay label that did like the first death metal 7 inches for Mortician and Incantation and bigger bands.
Right.
And Minch was the first band on that label.
Nice.
So we were part of the death metal community. Well, Minch was, but always like on the weird south corner of the community.
Sure,
or something.
Sure.
I don't know. I
get it.
Like we're not on the same, because Minch was just a grindcore noisecore band.
Right.
And what happened was that influenced me to just do more shit rock, crazy in the basement. I'm going to record something weird. You know, like I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to be in that band that plays the same 6 songs and has to record in the studio and do, you know, I'm like, I'm just going to record here in the basement.
Right.
You know, and whatnot. So when I started Pile of Eggs, it was just me and like 4 of my buddies from Parma.
When did you start Pile?
About 91.
Oh, really? That early? Okay.
Because it was influenced by Minch.
Okay.
Let's just press record and see what happens.
Right.
Let's not, you know. And then we recorded 3 tapes.
Who was in? Who started that?
That was me and Chris Dora, and my buddy John Cunningham, Sean Bateman, Randy Parasco.
Okay.
And it was us 5.
Yeah.
And we did about
just noise.
Goofy slop rock.
Yeah.
Sloppy like punk cheese. Just funny, goofy stuff.
Right.
But we recorded 3 tapes without even having the name of the band. We just did it for fun. And we recorded a couple tapes and never talked about it again in 1990. In 91, I had nothing going on, so I'm like, I'm going to take those 3 tapes and make a best of those 3 jams, and I put out a tape, which was the first Pile of Eggs demo.
Okay.
And by that time,
there you go.
Okay. No, I wasn't. I'm sorry about that. No, that's fine. That's fine. When we did the Pile of Egg jams, we didn't have a name for it.
Yeah.
And then when I put the tapes together, we were like, hey, well, we're going to call this. And the guys were all like, you know, Vomit Hell. You know, like everyone was coming up with these sick names. And Chris goes, how about Poe? And I'm like, Edgar Allan Poe? What are you talking about? He goes, no, Pile of Eggs. And I started laughing because we had this dumb inside joke where he would act like a little old lady going, can I take your order? I'm like, yeah, I want some eggs. How many eggs do you want? Chris would act like a little old lady, and then I would like just start, I want the biggest fucking pile of eggs you can give me. And I'd start like wrecking the couch and throwing stuff. It was just like an inside dumb joke that we had that no one else understood it, you know? And when he said Pile of Eggs, and that was the punchline to our dumb joke, the name stuck. The name stuck right then, and I put out the tape, and none of the other guys liked it. They're like, I don't want to be in some dumb band called Pile of Eggs. You know, this is stupid. Why'd you make that tape? But I already shopped it around. I sent it to some magazines, and I sent it to some places, and people were talking about it.
Right.
So they're like, wow, people are talking about it? Let's jam some more.
Yeah.
So we jammed some more. We did another demo, and then all the guys went into more serious bands instantly.
Oh, yeah?
They all moved into like serious death metal, kind of like alternative rock, They all went into
gave them confidence.
Everyone went in their own direction.
Yeah.
One went to hardcore, one went into death metal.
What
one
bands can we?
Well, Doris then went to Integrity.
Oh, nice.
You know, I mean, Dora played in Decrepit.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
the early death metal band Decrepit.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and my buddy Sean did a whole bunch of like Jane's Addiction style bands.
Yeah.
I think they were called Skin Tree. They were more mellow and
nice.
Jane's Addiction-ish-y. And Randy started playing in hardcore bands, like more, you know, One Life Crew style type of bands.
Okay. Hardcore.
Hardcore. Yeah. You know, he might even played in that for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then I went into like this weird deep noisecore.
Sure.
Freak show.
Yeah. But you...
And then in 91 we put out our first demo. In 92 we put out the second demo, just a bunch of Parma kids. They all went and started doing their own different bands. And I invited my friends that liked the Pile of Egg tapes from New York, Akron, Seattle, Kentucky to my house in 93, right. And that turned into the new Pile of Eggs for the next 5 years. That was the lineup. My buddies would come in from different states. We would record as much music as possible, and then I'd make the demos and shop them around to magazines and stuff.
That's cool.
Get reviews, and we started doing interviews and stuff for magazines.
So, and that's the thing, you know, being in a band, you know,
right.
It's like, you know, it's you know, to shop these things around. You know, a lot of bands think that somebody's going to find them. You know, nobody's ever going to find you.
If you don't care enough for your band to push it and promote it,
right?
Why would you think anyone else is going to do it?
Right.
You fucking asshole. You got to promote your own fucking band. Don't think someone else is going to give you money to promote your band.
I've seen bands out there, and you know, it's like, you know, and I've had bands, and you know, I shopped it around. I got reviews from publications and this and that and whatever, and you know, and then people are like, "What's going on? Nobody cares." And it's like, well,
maybe you should care, and maybe your band would do a little bit better.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like nobody's gonna find you.
No,
nobody's gonna find you.
No.
You have to work at it.
I haven't done much with my band Pile of Eggs in 10 years plus, but I've never killed it. It's never dead. It's not buried yet. Doesn't have a coffin yet. And if I want to do, the cool thing with Pile of Eggs is it started turning in after it wasn't the out of state lineup anymore. It was old school members with new guys. So I was doing Pile of Eggs with older dudes with new dudes, and then just new dudes with new dudes, and just doing it for fun in the basement, and just doing it like weird stuff.
I think that's why you guys like made a name, because you were doing it. You weren't expecting someone to do it for you.
It's like this. This is the best way I've explained it for years. You're into tennis. You love tennis. You're going to go play some tennis. You play some tennis, and you get home, and you go to the bar, and you're like, hey, what's going on? I went and played some tennis. Did you make any money? No, I just went and played some tennis. Did anyone watch you? No, no one there. You know what I'm saying? And you play tennis because that's what you want to do. I want to create weird, dumb music that only 50 people will understand, and will confuse 1,000 more people because they don't understand that. What are they doing? How are they doing that?
Right.
And most all my music that I've put out has been ad-lib, made up, live on the spot.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
But you've made a name for yourself. I mean, I understand.
Well, it does help.
Know, I mean, I know about you. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's other people that you don't know that know about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You've done. You've succeeded in that.
Right. Some people know me because of the noise grinding metal scene.
Right.
Some people only know me because I did zombie work for fucking 10 years. Some people don't know what I look like without my zombie gear on.
Which is pretty cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a zombie career, you know, and that was really fun.
Yeah.
And then...
You've done some movies.
And I've been in like 5 movies, you know, and that was kind of fun. I tried stand-up comedy, which I'll do at any time.
Right.
I did a couple stand-up shows, which has turned into a really fun time for me.
Right, for sure.
And my side project band I did with Pile of Eggs is called Nut Screamer. And on the second Pile of Eggs demo, side B was all the different side bands that I did at the time, and Nut Screamer was my solo one that I recorded on Roller Coasters.
So when did you do Nut Screamer? So that
92.
Is that the next thing after Minch
in 92, I put out the second Pile of Eggs demo, and side B was called Side Bands, and I had 6 different side bands. And one of the 6 was Nut Screamer. It was me recording myself on roller coasters at Cedar Point. And I would take this bootlegger with me on the roller coasters in my pocket and my flannel, and I would scream into it as I'm going on the roller coasters.
Right.
Anyone that got the Pile of Eggs tape was like, dude, that Nut Screamer on side B is crazy. That's great. Everyone was talking about the Nut Screamer.
Right.
So in 92, I ended up putting out the first Nut Screamer demo, and I just have a solo project. This is my solo project. It's crazier than Pile of Eggs, And Nut Screamer turned into my stand-up comedy act. That's what I was giving up for Nut Screamer.
Okay.
And I did that a couple times, and it started at noise shows, because noise shows were just ad-lib, people making noise on the spot.
Right.
And I would play at shows like that. And I'm like, hey, how long's your set? To my buddy, he's like, 5 minutes. I'm like, can I have the microphone for like 3 minutes after you? I would do gigs that I wasn't on the flyer for. I don't want no one to know I'm performing. I want it to be a shot, like a surprise to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that became kind of fun. So I was just doing it at noise shows. And the dude's like, oh, you want to introduce my metal band? So I did the Nut Screamer act at a metal show. And this dude's like, hey, we're doing this stand-up comedy review at the bowling alley. And now I'm getting invited to, like, comedy clubs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
and I'm
cool.
like, I'd rather walk into an environment where no one knows me and totally freak out and barf on my dick and stuff. People don't know what to do when you barf on your dick. They freak out.
No, I don't think I would know what to do either. So so that's what you did. So all right. So if I can like bring this together.
Okay.
We got the Minch, we got the was it Schnauzer?
Schnauzer.
And then you went into...
No, I was.
Well, you were doing the
Pile of Eggs was my first band, and I was kind of being very motivated about doing it. Jim liked it because I was making flyers, I was putting out demos, I was sending stuff. He was like, "Hey, you want to be in Schnauzer?" So Schnauzer was my second band. Then I joined Minch, and then after I was in Minch, I started doing Nut Screamer before I was even in Minch. Wow. Jim knew I was a wild man, and he's like, you want to be in Minch? We'll record it at your house. You know, so we did the third Minch record, and then the fourth Minch record I wasn't on, but I put it out on my own record label. It was my first record I put out with my record label,
What is that?
It was called Egg Scab Records.
Okay. It still exists, right? I mean, you did stuff, right?
Egg Scab Records.
It's still there, right?
Egg Scab Records probably put out 50 releases. I put out a lot. Tapes, videos. On all the Schnauzer stuff, I put Egg Scab video.
Okay.
And the one thing that I didn't even talk about was the magazine I did. I did a magazine in 90? No. 93 and 95. So I was interviewing bands, I was writing reviews, and people knew I was really deep into music. So the magazine was called the Scab Mag, and that's how Egg Scab Records became.
Okay.
One of the biggest things I did in the early days was the magazine. That put me on the map forever.
Okay.
Doing the magazine in 90, 93, and 95. Because I was interviewing bands, and bands that are big now were sending me their demos back in the day.
Right.
I remember, like, Fear Factory was like, hey, can you review this demo?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was working with the Domain Cleveland guys.
Cool.
Bill Bailey, whatever. So I was doing a lot of interviews.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of fun, like meeting all these.
Right, yeah, being part of the, like, playing your part, doing something. I'm involved with music somehow.
Sure.
Right. And I stopped doing Schnauzer stuff in like 2011, and that's when I started doing Zit Squatch with my buddy Poopy, and he played in a band called Sockeye. That was one of my biggest influences back in the day.
Well, tell me about Sockeye, because I'm not...
Sockeye is a Kent legend band from Kent.
Okay.
And they put out a lot of tapes, and they put out a lot of stuff, and all the guys are like being in band addicts, so they're in other bands that similar to Sockeye, right, and whatnot. And Dave came up to see Pile of Eggs because we did a show, and Dave was in Sockeye, and he came up to see us and gave us his records because we were all fans of Sockeye back in '94, and it was really cool meeting him, and then him joining the band. And I'm friends with Dave, and Dave's and Matt playing Sockeye together, and Matt, he played in like Dr. Bitch. It was like a normal band name you would see on flyers back in the day, right, you know. And in Dr. Bitch, Sam from Minch plays in Dr. Bitch. So I became friends with Matt, and we always talked about doing a band, and it was like the Zit Squatch story is kind of fun too, and I've been doing that since 2011.
So tell me about Zit. What kind of music could that possibly be? I mean, you
know, like how some bands sing about war, other bands sing about death and destruction and, right, demons, and some people sing about getting laid and stuff like that. We sing about acne, like that. Like that's like our genre. So, you know, it's like music for kids with zits. It's a very immature type of stuff.
And the Squatch is just big time zits, right?
Yeah, it's the whole. It's like it's a zit monster. We're like a zit monster band. And the thing is, back in the day, Schnauzer has a song called Auschwitz.
Okay. It's
a short song, and when we play it live, Schnauzer used to play it forwards and backwards because it was a short song. We'd play it Auschwitz frontwards, and then we'd play Auschwitz backwards. And I tried to pronounce Auschwitz backwards, and it came out Zitsquat.
Oh,
and for some reason, in the back of my head, Zitsquatch always kind of like stayed in the back of my head for some reason.
Cool.
And when me and Matt did our first jam, we were throwing some goofy names around, and when I said Zitsquatch, his face lit up. He's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's like a zit monster, you know, music for kids with zits." Like that's
cool.
that's our
wow,
you know, very immature music.
I've seen those posts. You know, you post them, and I was like, dude, it's uncomfortable, but I like it for some reason.
Okay,
I don't know.
right. I get it.
Yeah,
like we can have a whole hour about my post, but no one wants that. I think that the more you say, the less people want to hear from you. The less you say, the more people do want to hear what you have to say. So people got to learn how to pace themselves. If you're posting all the time, no one's going to listen to you anymore. You know. Right. So I try to just relax and take it easy. But I think everyone has a weird relationship with the social media. Sure. I mean, that's a whole episode. Like, we can just talk about
that's a whole different thing,
and no one even wants to hear about it. Right.
No, but the thing is, you know, posting. You know, I used to post a lot, and I was like, "Hey, I'm expressive," you know.
Right.
But then I'm like, nobody wants to see that.
No one wants it.
Nobody wants that.
Right.
If you can just have a little couple tasty bites here and there, man,
it keeps you alive a little bit better.
And
I'll
tell you what, and try not to make it political. But
no one wants it. No one needs it.
Well, it doesn't help anything.
It doesn't
help.
So
if it is political when I post it, I make sure that I offend both sides.
That's a good thing to do. But I that's just such a black hole to go enter to talk about that.
Right. Totally.
It just turns people's stomachs nowadays.
It does.
It's a stomach.
But so many people buy into it, though. You know.
People don't know how to take it easy.
What do you think Jim would say nowadays?
I know that Jim really didn't dislike the internet. He didn't have a cell phone, and he didn't didn't talk to people.
So he would have been like,
well, it's hard to think what Jim would be saying nowadays, but he would try to change the topic to metal.
Right.
That's what I would think he would try to do.
That's right.
Or he would be like, blacks are pissed and cops are pissed too. I don't know.
Right.
He'd be like, blacks are pissed and Cops are pissed, and that's not a good sign.
White people are pissed.
White people are pissed, dude. Aliens are pissed. They're like, hey, we're here. No one cares, man. What the fuck? You know, the asteroid's pissed. He's like, fuck, I missed that place again.
No, but I think that's what I like about you on social media. You're usually posting something where you're in some kind of face paint. And you're having fun, in some way.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going
to the cinema wasteland. I'm very well known, but to me, that was like my getaway weekend. Every 6 months, I'd go to cinema wasteland, get a room for the weekend, and just party with my out of town buddies. Yeah. It was all about just having a good party with my buddies from out of town.
Right.
Because the first wasteland I went to, I went by myself, and I didn't know nobody there.
Right.
And that was in 2004, and like by 2007 I turned into my clown character there accidentally.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I put on a wig and threw some blood on my face.
I follow you, dude. I follow you. I see that stuff.
And then it just turned into, that's where I like doing my clown character.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of zombie work, and I've worked in haunted houses and worked at different places and escape rooms, and I did a lot of weird stuff.
Oh, you've done all that.
Yeah, I was working in the
houses.
I didn't work there. I would go as like a guest person, not even get paid.
Yeah.
I would go and bust ass all night, and the owners would be like, your room was the best. Everyone came talking about your room. And they didn't even buy me a beer. Like the haunt business is bad.
You just do it for fun.
Totally do it for fun, man. Even the zombie stuff. But I worked at the one that was on Brook Park Road. That one.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at that one a couple times.
Over by the Wax Museum or whatever?
No. The one that was at Value City.
Oh, okay.
There was a haunt there for a couple years.
Oh, okay.
And then I worked out at Blossom a couple times. And then there was a couple other ones that I worked at. And then I worked in an escape room. And that was really weird. And I was a professional zombie for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I worked with the little kid from Christmas Story, Randy, Ralphie's brother.
Oh, yeah?
And I worked with Ian, who played played Randy in Christmas Story. Because he worked in an escape room. Yeah. It was kind of cool working with someone from one of my favorite movies.
That's awesome.
Because he worked at the escape room with me.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something about doing the zombie work and the blood stuff, but I worked in like a bunch of haunted backyard party, like these really big wood backyard haunted places, like haunted house backyard parties. And I do zombie, but then I really have more fun doing the clown because I can talk, I can laugh, I can goof around, and I'm not just going, and the thing that's weird is doing the zombie for like about 8-10 years, and then start doing the clown more. People like zombies now. Zombies are cool.
No, they're totally.
You know what I'm saying? And people are like clowns. They run the other direction. But I get to be more expressive and funny and goofy. So I like both characters. It's kind of fun being a clown at a haunted house.
Yeah.
Because I've worked as a clown now at a haunted house like 4 times. Haunted backyard. I just for fun. Do music just for fun. I worked in the backyard haunted pop. Backyard party just for fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting paid to have fun. But it's nice getting a couple extra beers and partying with your friends.
No, it's cool.
That's worth more than any money you can give me.
I've seen you do the zombie walks in Akron and Cleveland.
Right, the zombie stuff,
That's totally cool.
And doing the zombie stuff, that started in like 99. Just me and my buddy wanted to do some zombie shoot in a graveyard. She's like, you want to turn into a zombie? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I learned... and then when I went to like Wasteland in like 2004, I was already doing zombie stuff for like 4 years.
Right.
And in 2004, I was showing people, hey, I do some zombie stuff. And there was no zombie walks. No one was doing zombie.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I was already doing that. So when zombie walks started coming into play in like 2007, I was already trained professional.
Well, now I feel like a complete ass because when you asked me for a glass, I gave you the Walking Dead, which is probably, I was like, oh, it's appropriate, but I'm like, it's so like, he was zombie way before Walking Dead.
No, I was. Holy. Yeah. Like I wasn't a zombie. Oh, you see the show? There's zombies on there. No, I was doing it back in the day just for fun. It was for the photos. It was for the video.
Right.
It was for the audio.
That's right.
That's why I like to look back. You know, everyone goes through the perspective of their life when they get 50 years old. What did I do? You know, when anybody. You know.
So, have you turned 50?
September 25th.
So you're gonna turn 50.
If I make it another month ish.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And
well, if I make it another couple hours, I'll be 45. So
oh, okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Good job. All right. Yeah. No. Now the countdown begins, you know. Now you're going downhill, you know. Downhill.
That's what I said. It was like if I round up now, it's going to be 50, right?
Well, I've been calling myself like 62 for like years anyhow. So like 50 like what are you talking about 50? I was 50 like 7 years ago, you know? Like I've already been 50, you know? Like
do you have anything big planned for your
Well, the plan was going to Vegas. I have a buddy that lives in Vegas. He's been dying for me to go out there for years.
Have you been there?
I'd never been there.
Oh,
and he's got a place with a pool and real nice stuff. And this was being planned before January.
Yeah.
And it got shut down in about March. I'm not going to Vegas. There's no reason for me to be on a plane. I'm not going to Vegas. Right. But I'm taking the weekend off. My birthday's on a Friday, so I'm going to take Friday and Monday off. So I'm going to have a nice long weekend, and nothing's on the map for 50 yet. Okay. And if we just go play putt-putt, that will be fine. No big deal. You know, whatever. Lay low. Just have something simple to do.
You don't really care.
No, I would have really loved to go and see my buddy Matt in Vegas because we were like big Star Wars collector freaks, and me and him went to like a bunch of Star Wars conventions in 99, 2003, 2005, 2007, and I met a lot of Star Wars actors, and being a Star Wars fan, me and Matt went to all these conventions together and stuff, and he grew up in Parma, and we used to go, you know, whitewater rafting and, you know, doing stuff like my buddy Matt, but he lives in Vegas now, and like we're big Star Wars nerds. Yeah. You know, I'm kind of like zombie guy mixed in with comic book dude because I'm real big into comic books and metal guy, this zombie dude and clown guy.
I love whenever you post something just because I relate to it.
Okay, so I'm just trying to keep it simple and easy.
There's usually a Star Wars thing, a zombie thing, or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when I was a kid watching the zombie movies, it was like the most horrific thing that I could think of, right? And then I end up getting involved in the heavy metal and stuff like that, and then it's like, well, now it, you know, the whole zombie thing has become so pop culture.
Right. Yeah. But it was fun to be there when it wasn't popular. You know, it was like in the 70s. Like like you know, Night of the Living Dead and you know, and Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. You know, zombie movies back in the day. You know, that would creep people out because it wasn't. You know, the zombies are you. They're me. The zombie's your mom, your dad, your brother. Your zombie can be anybody, and it's like, whoa, what, you know?
Well, it's like the body snatcher thing too.
Right? Yeah. I loved that movie as a little kid too. Yeah,
it's horrifying.
No, it really freaked me out.
It's somebody you love. You know, it's like. And there they are.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Now they want to kill me, yeah. But, you know, zombies were scary back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
And just doing it for fun to go take pictures in the graveyard when no one was talking about zombies and stuff. So that just became like something I was into doing.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? Right now?
What I'm doing now is taking it easy and working my job, and I'm happy working at a record plant called Gotta Groove Records.
Nice.
And I work down in the city, and I have to be in at 7 to 3, but I go in at 6:30 because I like being early. And
so it's a record? What do you mean?
We make records. It's a record plant that puts out Fleetwood Mac and Doobie Brothers.
Dude,
and
that's
we
like
work
the sweetest
with like
fucking thing.
Warner Brothers records, and we put out a lot of spoken word and soundtrack stuff and rap and country and techno and metal and noise, and
you're putting out vinyl.
There's about 50 plants that 40 to 50 plants that make records in the United States right now. But in 2009, when Gotta Groove Records opened, only 14 record plants were in the United States in 2009.
Wow.
14.
Right.
And now,
it's a bigger thing.
10 years later, there's about 50 plants making vinyl. And since we were one of the bigger ones in 2009, 10.
You're tried and true.
We got some pretty big contracts at the shop. And we have been pushing 1 million records out the door for the last couple of years.
That is super cool, dude.
So I'm in the shipping department.
Yeah.
I don't make the actual records, but I'm part of the crew, and it's like a
cool.
very family-oriented type feeling. There's only like about 35, 40 of us that work there, and the owner's super, super cool and takes care of all of us. And, you know, and so with the way things have been this year, and the plant getting shut down and all the crazy stuff that's been happening and whatnot, it's been a different kind of year. But now, the last couple months, going to work is like going to a concert every day. That's my fun. Going to work is like my comedy show. You know, I'm a comic relief there. I make everyone have a better day. You know, like I like going to work. Yeah. I just like going to work because I can't go to shows. I can't go to Cedar Point. I can't go to the movies. So just going to work is fine with me. And I'm all about home entertainment. I had a broken Space Invaders machine. I got that fixed, and now I can play 60 different games on my Space Invaders machine. I can play Donkey Kong and Frogger and Pac-Man and Space Invaders, and so I like home entertainment, and I just like chilling at home. And I want to music-wise, I need to learn more about the band camp, because band camp is where I like to zone out and relax time and find new music and do stuff. Yeah. And I want to learn how to get my tapes to the computer and the computer to Bandcamp. And I don't even need to be in a band recording music in the basement or attic, because I have 20 years of music I've recorded.
Right.
So I want to just stay at home and put my music online.
I mean, I could definitely help you with that.
That's cool. I'll give you $100.
Sure.
No, money, cash.
No.
I asked
I'm not a money guy.
I asked like 7 people. Hey, if you can help me out with some Bandcamp, getting my stuff and my music and this and that, I'll give you $100. No one's bit yet. I have money saved.
I could definitely help.
Like I'm not messing around. Like
I can definitely.
I don't know how. I have.
It's easy. I can show you how to do it, and you can do it yourself.
I have everything to do it.
No.
I don't have the map, like step 1, 2, 3. Then you have to do 4, 5, and 6, because everything you have to do online or on the computer, it takes a couple steps, and I don't have them in order. Like I can put my tapes to my computer, but I don't know how to break the tracks up.
Sure.
And then
I got you.
There's like different stuff. But if you can help me out, man, I have cash. And anyone else out there, you got cash. I got cash.
Anyone that wants to help out,
I want to put my music online because.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So we can hook that up. But
it's easy.
Cool.
Yeah. It's easy. It's not even worth $100, dude.
It's worth it to me.
I'll do it for you hanging out tonight.
That sounds cool. Hopefully, hopefully your fan base that you have brewing for your 4th season.
My 30 viewers.
Well, that's you should be happy you have 30 viewers, because some people are trying even harder and they only have 9.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're having fun and someone's like, "Hey, what'd you do?" "I did my podcast." Did you get paid?" "No." "How many people watched?" "Well, 9 people watched on so far, but that's only today, so it can only build up and get better." You know what I'm saying? You do it for fun.
I do it.
You do it for fun.
I do it because I feel like people like you need to have documentation. I think there needs to be this documented. Your stories. You know what I mean? Need to be documented. That's why I do it.
Cool. Thank you, and I appreciate it. And I haven't really done too much. My buddy Nick does a podcast, and he came over to my house, and we just recorded it, and and then he posted it. I'm not much of a podcast guy because I'm kind of slow. Because I know there's a podcast for the Misfits.
You're not slow.
There's a podcast for card trading. There's a there's a podcast for zombie talk and movie talk. There's so much that I already get into so much as it is that it's hard to get into something new, because once I go get into something, I start going like, wow, this podcast cool. This podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's like so much cool stuff, and there's not enough time.
So if anybody wants to learn anything about Cleveland subculture, That's what I'm hoping to grab.
Right, that's cool.
You know
right,
what I mean?
right. Yeah. No. Cleveland gets a bad rap, but millions of people all around the world know someone from Cleveland because we're all cool, man. Right. We're all cool people in Cleveland, you know. And people might rip on us because our sports teams never make it, or you know. but I think it's a fact that out of all the states in the country, Ohio has the most bands.
Oh, is that right?
Ohio has the most bands. You know,
really?
So yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I think if you look it up, Ohio has the most bands. That's because the same 20 dudes do about 400 bands. Like, we're all friends and we all do like side projects with different bands, and like everyone's involved with each other. So it's like kind of funny that it works out that way. I think that's what it is. We're all friends and we're cool here in Cleveland, and that's what happens.
I think that's how Seattle worked out, though.
Right. Yep.
You know, that whole thing, it was like everybody was just friends.
Right, everyone was cool with each other and helped each other out, and everyone's likes being in bands, and we all shuffle around from different bands all the time, and I think that's why Ohio has the most bands, because Cleveland has like 30 of the most crazy being in band addict people.
Right.
You know, because Jim was probably in like 30 bands. You know, and
so let's talk about that a little bit. You know, I'd like to go into Jim, you know, a little bit. I've known him to be in your band and then Nunslaughter, but I know he's been in like a bunch of tiny little other things. Yeah. And whatever. And did Parma recognize him for something? Or?
The thing that was really funny, that this story is one of the most classic stories about Jim, is when Jim passed away, someone somewhere brought up that Jim should get the key to the city.
Right.
And this thought of Jim getting the key to the city kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
It got so big that it got to the mayor.
Shit.
And when the mayor got wind of all these people wanting Jim to get the key to the city of Parma, the mayor of Parma was friends with the mayor of Columbus and called him and said, "Has anyone ever gotten the key to the city before in Columbus?" No one has ever gotten the key to the city for Parma. Jim was the first one.
Get the fuck out of here.
In the history of Parma to get the key to the city.
Awesome.
So the mayor of Parma didn't even know what to do or how to do it. So he had to call the mayor of Columbus to figure out how to do it. The mayor okayed it, and we had a celebration with Jim's family and all of his friends, because he didn't have like a normal like funeral, and the key to the city thing became like Jim's funeral, and everyone was there, and it was really cool, man. That's how that happened.
Dude, that's fucking sweet, dude.
And the dude was the most metal fucking crazy madman.
Right.
You know,
he's
crazy.
In a band called Nunslaughter,
and he gets the key to the city. And it was really, really, really nice. And a couple people got asked to talk and give a speech about Jim that night, and people were so sad and caught up with Jim being gone that they couldn't speak in front of people about Jim. And the people that they asked declined, and it got down to me. Steve, would you like to talk about Jim? So I got to go stand up in front of everybody and say,
you gotta tell him.
I gotta say, Jim was great, man. We used to scream out the windows in the cars and just be freaks and stuff, you know. Napoleon's Pizza made a pizza named after him, you know. The pizza shop in Parma has a Steeler Jim pizza.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that dude was over the top. And he didn't drink, and he didn't smoke, and he didn't do drugs. The dude was classic, man.
He was completely straight edge. When he would come into our practice room, we were at Rock and Roll City Studios. Mark Sobere, shout out.
Yep.
And he was just the nicest guy. We'd, hey, you want to smoke some weed? No.
Mm-mm.
Straight at, you want a beer? No.
Mm-mm.
No, dude, he was completely straight
I used
edge,
to
completely
every now
full
and
of
then
energy, man.
Every
and
now
the
and
fact that guy died, like, how did that happen?
Because he was so full of life.
Yeah,
he gave.
He burned it out.
He
burned it out.
Yeah,
so
100%. Yeah, and well, I was just gonna say about him. Man,
with Sober A and the Rock and Roll City Studios.
Right. But yeah, he was just full of life and stuff, and I don't know, you know, it was about him not drinking and stuff. But every now and then, like, we would get done eating a pizza or something. He's like, Steve, can I get a smoke? And I'm like, what? And he's like, can I get a smoke? I'm like, you don't want to smoke. He goes, no, I like having a smoke after a pizza. And I'm like, nah, dude. And I felt weird giving him a cigarette. And I would give him the cigarette, but he would smoke it like a cigar. And it was great. So whenever Jim would ask for a cigarette, I'd give him a smoke, but he would smoke it like a cigar. He wouldn't inhale, you know.
We were talking about like how full of life. You know,
yeah.
It's like he's so full of life that he burned it out. He burned his fuse out, right?
Well, he was a big eater and he liked eating. So there was some stuff that the doctor said, please don't eat this.
Oh, is that right?
Well, you know, don't drink this much.
He was a big guy, but he wasn't like overweight.
No. But he might have ate some stuff and the food might have did something to it. And something happened to his heart. And the doctors even said, don't be playing drums right now. You shouldn't be playing the drums. You should take it easy. And he played 2 shows in 2 days. And then after that, he had the stroke. So
no shit.
He was like, I can't live without metal.
Had, like,
don't tell me not to play
something.
drums. He's like, I'll tell them doctors. You know, I think it was a thing. Don't tell me not to play drums.
Well, that's Jim.
Right. Don't. It's like don't. I wish he didn't play those couple shows, because after he played those couple shows, I heard the doctors told him not to. So he lived for metal. He died for metal. End of story, man.
Yeah, he definitely made an impression on my life,
right?
For sure.
And and him helping me out with my music career and asking me to be in Schnauzer and being in Minch and just being his friend, and he would always be over at my house checking his email or making flyers or working on the copy machine. My mom would make him dinner because my mom was a really perfect cook, and I'm a real picky eater and I don't eat a lot of food,
right?
And she's like, Jim, come over and eat. I'm like, hey, Jim, Mom's made dinner. He's like, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes, dude. I'm on my way. Like he was part of my family. For a good 10 years.
Well, it's hard. I could say again. I wasn't the greatest friend of his, but I felt like I was a great friend of his, because he made me feel that way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like whenever you talk to him, it's like he's known you before. He knows your name, like you said. He remembers people's names.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
amazing.
so bad. I'm like, yeah, honey, yeah,
no,
babe.
I'm
hey,
the
dude,
worst.
What's up, rocker?
Yeah, I'm the worst.
Oh, I'm bad with names.
I even when I called you up, you were like, yeah, well, I was like, yeah, you were a Nunslaughter, and you were like, no, I wasn't a Nunslaughter. I was like, motherfucker, I'm an idiot.
I was in Nunslaughter. I tried out for Nunslaughter. I played one riff and I got kicked out of the band. And it's one of my happiest times that I tried out for Nunslaughter. I played one riff and I got kicked out of the band. I was like, and they're like, no, it's you're out of the band. And Jim and Don just kicked me right out of the band. One riff, you're out, dude. If you don't know I Am Death, you're out of the band.
But let's go into that. Jim Konya on drums, man. That dude was a killer, dude.
Well, me being me and knowing Jim's side of his drum stories, I could tell you some pretty funny Jim drum stories.
Please.
He had a pretty messy, sloppy drum set.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah.
Jim's drum set was pretty old and beaten and sloppy.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. But he played it.
And one of the things was, when Schnauzer had a show, he always made sure he booked a band that would let him use their drums. so Jim played on many different drum sets throughout the years. He never had like his own. Like, Jim would love it if like a band had a really nice drum set and he would be like, you want to play a show? Can I use your set? And Jim, being the nice guy that he is, anyone would let him use his set.
That may have happened. I think that's why we played with, yeah.
I don't know if you knew that or not, but every now and then we would have to take the practice drums out of the practice room, for a very rare show.
But he could play them though.
Oh no, Jim was a grinder. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. He was and he took a lot of slack from drummers because he was definitely a little bit more sloppy. Yeah. Than other drummers.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother Jim. Didn't bother Jim that people might kind of be like, oh, you're kind of sloppy or this and that, or he didn't care because he was doing it for fun also.
Well, but the thing is, I mean, it was attitude. Like, I mean, you guys had people going to those shows because it was his attitude.
Right.
Like, that's what people wanted. Like, they wanted that.
It was the equivalent of Cleveland,
right?
drunks, Cleveland drug addicts going to see Bob Hope.
Right.
You know, they knew they were going to see someone faint. You know, like it was like he was a classic figure. Yeah. You know, like it was like you know, like how older people would watch Johnny Carson because they want to see the guest, but it's about Johnny. You know what I'm saying? It's about the Johnny. Like John, you know what I'm saying? If you go see Schnauzer, you see Jim.
Right.
You know, he's a classic. You
Even
know, you knew he was going to put on.
He's just a drummer.
Well, he was a very good vocalist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, you know, he played drums and vocals. That's why I had to join while he was like doing his drums. He needed me to go,
you know, the blast and
right,
stuff.
right. Yeah, he knew I like to yell at people.
Yeah.
He knew I was good at talking. Talking shit.
But that's what was cool about those shows because you had the banter. I mean, dude, we've opened up for you guys a couple times, and watching the show, it was people. You would grab people's attention and just hold it, and it doesn't matter what you know what I mean.
Right.
It would just be there, and it didn't matter what you guys were playing, if it was on time. If it
didn't matter if the riff was wrong or whatever. You know, someone did no. Because
the attention was there.
Well, once you have 2 boxes of teddy bears, refrigerator boxes full of teddy bears, and people are throwing shit around, you got to pay attention. You know, like you know, people are having pie fights at your show, and you got pies flying around everywhere. You know, you got to be like, what the hell is this band doing? You know, why is there a pogo stick and hula hoops? And is that seriously a 6-foot punching penis? Blow up punching penis? Like, what is going on? And why is the hula hoop around the 6-foot punching penis? like, you know, it was fun. Definitely fun, you know. And I got the videos of all that stuff, man.
So, I got to tell you, somebody needs to make this video. He's got all these DVDs, all this video.
Right. It could happen. Maybe another 10 years. See what happens.
I got to see this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff.
But, So that's what you're doing now. So what are you doing? You're just kind of working?
Yeah, just kind of working in home entertainment. If I can just stay at home, I'm cool with that because I got my arcade and I got working at the record plant. You inherit some records, so I have some records I need to go through.
Dude, I think it's like it's almost like I don't know what to call it, but it's so cool that you're still making music.
Right.
In some way.
Right.
In some way.
No. Like,
I mean, that's great, dude.
Right. Squatch has got something in the making, and it's fun waiting to be like, oh, well, maybe that might happen this month. Maybe it might happen next month.
Even the record thing.
Working at the record shop is really, really cool because I had so many shit jobs that I know what's good when I have it. So I go in and I try to, you know, get my job done faster than other people, and I try to help out more people than I can, and you know, cleaning up the shop and going in early and sticking around late.
That's just being a regular,
you know, and people,
being,
you know, I'm part of the shop now, and I've been there like 4 years in October, so I'm just cool going to work. That's my comedy show. Everyone's kind of funny and goofy there, and we all been in bands, and we all like know each other real good. And sometimes,
do you still have a comedy routine?
The comedy routine?
Yeah.
Like something funny?
I mean, I'm not asking you to do it now.
Right.
If you want to, that's great.
No.
But no, I'm just saying, would you still do a comedy thing?
Well, no. I mean, I would, but I don't like going out anymore.
No?
I'm comfortable with just home entertainment. Watching movies, laying low. I don't need to show off.
Thing, or?
Even before that, I would say for like a year or two, I'm cool with going out and showboating, and I'm kind of bored with that because I've done it for so long. I don't need to go to the bar. I'm not much of a drinker. I only like to drink like if I could just do it every 6 months at Wasteland, because I'll binge for like 3 days at Wasteland. I'm like, I don't want to drink for another 6 months, you know. like I like doing that, you know. Like I don't need to go out and drink. I don't need to go out and be like, hey, I'm in the scene. Here I am. I'm checking. You know, I like home entertainment, and you know, but to do a comedy stand-up thing, it would have to be the right time. You know, like maybe a year from now, and you know, but I think my music is my comedy, because it's so weird and different and off the hook. Sure. You know, and
you definitely have
some people wanted some old Schnauzer tapes, and I
wanted to say, hold on, I'm just gonna interrupt and say, he ended up giving me like 3 of these. I have 3 of these things. I'm gonna keep one. But, you know, if the first 2 people that
check it out.
Comment, I'll mail, dude.
Some
Schnauzer
totally stuff.
Mail it out to you. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, 2 of them.
2 of them.
They're
out there.
I'm keeping the one.
Right. No.
You know, dude. And then, dude, these are the 7 inches. Look at that. Rip your fucking dick off. You know?
And then throw it at a bus and get ran over by a taxi.
So Schnauzer. But this is a split with Solipsis.
Yep.
So yeah, I know those guys. They used to be Belligerent.
Okay.
But Noah.
Okay.
You know Noah.
I think he's playing with the Nunslaughter guys.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is Noah playing with Nunslaughter now?
I think so. I would put my money on it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because the Punching Moses is the split on this one. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to go out and buy a record player just so I can play these.
The Record Exchange.
I swear to God.
The Record Exchange has turntables for
thank you.
$100.
Yeah.
The Record Exchange has turntables for $100, but if you want to pay the $120 or something, like $120, you could buy a turntable that plugs right into your computer, because my vinyl plugs right into my computer now, because I bought a new turntable for $100.
Nice.
And instead of getting just the normal one, I spent the $120 on the one that plugs into your computer, and now I can just burn my vinyl right to my computer.
Perfect.
And they were like, oh, well, since you bought this turntable, you get a free $10 record. So it's actually only $110 because I got the free $10 off a record. You know, if you
nice.
So the Record Exchange has some good turntable vinyl, and it's kind of cool knowing that I can burn my vinyl to my computer. It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
That's awesome.
It's really fun.
Dude, no. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for... I'm sure we wasted more than enough time. You know, it's good to get away from the world.
We could definitely do
No,
more,
I know. You know, right. But no, good luck with your show. Thanks for having me by. It was a real blast coming out and doing this and talking some Jim stuff, because I think about him a lot. And,
talking you stuff, too.
Okay, that's cool. You know, bring up some, weird stuff. Yeah, I just like to chill and take it easy, go to work, and take a nap, take a shower, go back. Dude, have the weekend.
Seriously, thank you for the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I got the things. And like I said...
No, thanks for the plug. I appreciate it. If you want the Schnauzers...
First 2 comments, I'll send you one of these Schnauzer.
They're ripping ass, serious Schnauzer stuff. It was the stuff that Schumacher recorded with the Schnauzer. And it's really, 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 really fucking good songs on there. Like, Drug Bust is on there. And Coshocton Sunday's on there. And The People's Corpse is on there, and Jungle Friends is on there. There's some really big hits on the CD. It's a fun CD for sure. Okay.
Well, Steve, man, thank you so much, man.
No problem, man.
No, dude.
Good time.
And hopefully, I don't know, maybe you'll come back sometime.
Okay, that would be great.
All right.
Keep it up.
So, yeah, SUB-CLE. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.